Is it possible that the discoveries and inventions of one of history's great medical geniuses were allowed to slip away unnoticed? Could it be that a cure for cancer was discovered more than 3/4 of a century ago, verified by many eminent scientists and doctors of that era? This is the story of a man who built a microscope which could see things, deadly viruses and microorganisms that no one before had ever seen. That same man then created an electronic ray machine which would kill these heretofore unseen viruses. Yet this man died discredited, emotionally and physically spent, an alcoholic with little money, frustrated and unable to convince the world of the validity of his discoveries. This is the story of Royal Raymond Rife, his marvelous inventions, and his miraculous cures. Originally intending to be a medical doctor, Rife attended Johns Hopkins University. He soon found, however, that the field of bacteriology was his true calling. Royal Rife liked to observe the world through a microscope, and the workings of the microscope became an integral part of his education. With a seeming unquenchable thirst for knowledge, Rife studied optics at New York's Zeiss Works under Hans Lückel, the senior optics engineer, from 1904 to 1908. Zeiss was a world leader in optics and microscope image theory, and the formal training and experience gained there undoubtedly provided the fertile ground into which many of Rife's own optical seeds were to be sown. In the field of bacteriology, he was equally prolific. In addition to his studies, Rife photographed many specimens for the University of Heidelberg. Because of the contributions Rife made to this great university, he was given an honorary doctorate of parasitology in 1914. Rife married and settled in San Diego in 1913. After serving in the Navy during World War I, he is said to have met the wealthy industrialist Henry H. Timken of Timken Roller Bearings. Unable to find work in his chosen field, Dr. Rife took a job initially as Timken's driver, and he and his wife lived on Timken's sister's estate in San Diego. Fortune seemed to be smiling on Royal R. Rife. An accomplished machinist and inventor, Rife developed several important technological advances for Timken, one of which was an optical scanning device capable of detecting flaws in metal. This X-ray scanner was put into service on the Timken production line, ferreting out imperfections in the steel Timken used for his bearings. It would give Timken roller bearings a huge technological advantage over its competitors, saving the company millions of dollars. Dr. Rife also built racing engines for Timken the sports enthusiast. One of those engines set a speed and endurance record that stood for some 60-plus years. In appreciation, Timken promised Rife a lifetime monthly stipend. It was that monthly payment which was to fuel Rife's lifelong ambition, to build a microscope such as the world had never seen, and to continue his lifelong dream, his work in bacteriology. It is also very possible that Dr. Rife saved the life of Henry Timken's sister, Mrs. Amelia C. Bridges. When Mrs. Bridges became ill, the team of medical doctors attending her could not find the cause of the illness. Henry knew that Rife was a bacteriologist and a determined sleuth. He also concluded that his sister was going to die unless she could get help. Rife went meticulously through the Bridges kitchen. He had suspected a foodborne pathogen. He found the offending food, and Mrs. Bridges recovered. With the help of Henry Timken, in 1915, Royal Rife began to outfit his private laboratory and began identifying and classifying disease-causing microorganisms. It wasn't long, however, before he became frustrated with the magnification capabilities of the standard research microscope he was using. In attempting to investigate the cause of many diseases, Rife felt that the standard magnification of 2,500 times was insufficient. It was generally thought at the time that there was a limit beyond which no one could go in magnification. This theory, called the Fraunhofer diffraction limit, held that because images are brought to the eye by light waves measuring only about 51,000ths of an inch in length, no object considerably less than that size could ever be seen by the human eye. It was therefore supposed that no microorganisms smaller than half a wavelength of light could be seen through a microscope. Rife, confident from his work at Zeiss, felt this so-called barrier could be broken. In order to do this, Rife would have to not only overcome the power-resolving limitations of the ordinary optical microscope, but he would have to control the very wavelengths of light allowed into the instrument. It would take him 3 years. To build a microscope of this magnitude would require a powerful but diffused light source to penetrate the many layers of quartz magnification and provide illumination to the specimen without killing it. Rife developed and patented a 2,000 candle power cool lamp, which provided the necessary light. His knowledge of the properties and behavior of light when refracted by a prism, and the ingenious use of the finest Risley quartz prisms available at the time, allowed him to isolate specific monochromatic light frequencies onto a specimen. The ability to select a specific light frequency which fell on a target resulted in greater image clarity, which in turn allowed greater magnification. Rife had also learned that light frequencies could be tuned to the natural chemical frequency of the microorganism being examined, and it would cause a resonance or feedback loop. When this happened, the live microorganism would essentially illuminate itself. Rife had succeeded in making the invisible visible, and the specimen was alive. He had opened microscopy up to vast new worlds. Today's powerful electron microscopes still cannot duplicate this feat. Royal Rife had his first breakthrough microscope. For Rife, this breakthrough would prove crucial to his life's work and subsequent successes. The ability to view live organisms is what set Rife and his work apart from others. Rife was in effect staining his specimens with light. Although unknown at the time, biophysicists would later demonstrate that a crucial natural interaction does indeed exist between living matter and photons, which are the essential particles of light. Rife had shown this to be true in the early 1920s. Rife spent years researching microorganisms with his marvelous microscope, winning many government awards for his discoveries and accolades all over the world. During that time, he built a total of 5 virus microscopes. One is known to survive to this day. 1 or 2 others may exist in secret. Rife's third and greatest microscope was completed in 1933. He called it the universal microscope. This was, and may still be, the world's most powerful light source microscope. The universal microscope, like all of Dr. Rife's microscopes, allowed observation of living organisms at varying magnification, taking years to perfect. With more than 5,600 moving parts, the microscope cost $250,000 to build during the depths of the Great Depression. In today's dollars, it would amount to several million. Discovered in the archives of the Smithsonian Institute, a scientific publication, the Journal of the Franklin Institute, of February 1944, gives this description of the workings of the universal microscope.
Between the source of light and the specimen are subtended 2 circular, wedge-shaped block crystal quartz prisms for the purpose of polarizing the light passing through the specimen. A monochromatic beam of light corresponding exactly to the frequency of the organism is then sent